You ever get that naggy spot in your lower back, and despite stretching it, it doesn't go away? Here's why and what you can do about it. There's a big muscle back here called the Quadratus Lumborum, or QL for short. It attaches along the lower back, rib cage, and pelvis. Functionally, it basically does three things. It creates stability in this area, so if you can't move your back a whole lot, it might be too tight. It also side bends the trunk, pulling the pelvis and rib cage closer together. So for you folks who tend to have a hip hike, this muscle could be a little more tight. To test to see if your QL is giving you trouble, you need to see if you can move your body in the opposite direction of the muscle's function. You'll want to look at two tests. One that checks how well both of these muscles work together, and one that checks each side individually. The first is a toe touch, which checks how both QLs work together. Stand with your feet about hip width apart with your toes pointing forward. Straighten the knees without locking them out, and bend forward and touch your toes. If you can touch your toes with your hips shifting backwards, chances are both QLs can work together quite well. If your knees bend, most of the movement is coming from your lower back, or you can't touch your toes, you probably have an issue with both QLs working together a little too hard. The next test is a side bend. This checks how well you can relax one of those QL muscles at a time. Stand with your feet together and your arms relaxed, and bend your trunk sideways to one side. You're looking to create about a 45-degree angle, which means your fingertips are going to be pretty close to touching your knees. If you can't do this, meaning you can't reach down into that position, you notice that your back arches, or you have to rotate, or any other thing like that, then chances are one of your QLs is tight, and it's usually on the opposite side. So for example, if you can't side bend your trunk to the left, the right QL is likely a little tighter. Conversely, if you can't side bend your trunk to the right, the left QL is a little tighter. Now for each test, I'm going to show you an exercise sequence that can build mobility and strength so you can take care of that tightness in the Quadratus Lumborum, or QL. But what if both are tight as hell? If that's you, I would prioritize the toe touch first, because in order to target a single muscle, you need to maximally be able to flex, rotate, and side bend. If you can't do that on both sides, it'll limit the effectiveness of targeting only one side. So let's start by tackling both QLs first. They won't know what hit them. The easiest place to start is by lying on your back with your hips at 90 degrees, aka kneecaps pointing up toward the ceiling. Bring your feet together and push your knees apart. Your glutes might start working at this time, and that's a good thing because they'll help those QLs chill out. When you bias external rotation in the leg, this shifts your weight backwards, and that's needed to get the QL muscles to relax and reduce any hip hiking. But a lot of times, people who have stiff QLs end up arching in this position. An easy fix for this is to begin to straighten the knees up, which again will shift your weight backwards, ensuring the back is flat without forcing it. For an added effect, reach your arms in this exercise with the palms up like you're holding a casserole dish. You want to be at about 110 to 120 degrees of shoulder flexion, moving only 75% of your air. Do a slow 5-count breath in through the nose. Keep it quiet. Exhale through the mouth, doing a slow 5-count. During that first exhale, reach your arms out at that 110 to 120 degree angle. Maintaining the arm and leg position, hang out, slowly breathing like we discussed before, for 3 sets of 60 seconds. The frog position is a great starting move for getting those QL muscles to initially relax, but you have to be able to learn how to do that while moving, and I like this backward roll to work on that. Sit down on the ground with your knees bent. Grab underneath your thighs and look straight ahead. Keeping the legs together, you're going to inhale and straighten your knees. This is going to cause you to roll backward. Exhale and bend the knees. All of the rolls should be driven by straightening and bending the knees. The biggest mistake that I see people make is driving the motion with the trunk by flopping backwards really hard. If you do that, then you're going to be using muscles on the backside of your body. That could be your QLs. We're trying to get those to chill. So you want to make sure that it's driven by moving the knees and the breath together. Do 3 sets of 10 rolls. Once you've got the QLs to open up both passively and actively, you need to be able to keep the muscle relaxed and standing as well. Squatting is a great way of working on this. A great starting point is by standing with your feet a couple foot lengths away from the wall with your back resting up against it. Feet will be hip width apart apart and toes will point forward. Squat down a quarter to halfway, keeping your waistband area in contact with the wall without forcing it. Don't make the mistake of tucking the hips or rounding your back to try to get it there. I got a little something extra to help you make sure you can keep the back position and get the QLs to relax. Look straight ahead and bring your arms up at about a 60-degree angle. It's like you're holding a jacket over your shoulder on prom night. Take a slow 5-count breath in through the nose. During a soft 5-count exhale through the mouth, you're going to use your whole foot, staying heavy on the heel to shift your weight backwards. So you want to think about pushing the ground away from you so your back begins to flatten into the wall without forcing it. It's almost like you're pulling a sled backwards, or imagine you're walking in a cave, you saw a scary bear, and you're slowly walking back. Keep that pressure, and if you get it right, you're gonna work the quads. Hang out in this position for 3 sets of 60 seconds. Now you may have loosened up both QLs like crazy, but how do you get these changes to last for good? You have to use strengthening exercises to hold those mobility gains for the long haul. You can do both a lower and upper body exercise, and they help your QLs for different reasons. You can build on the wall squat you did previously by progressing to a goblet squat, ideally on a ramp. Stand on the ramp and look straight ahead. Hold a weight at about chest height. Soften the knees in the beginning. Take a slow breath in through the nose. During the exhale, you're gonna reach the weight a little bit away from you. This should shift your weight so you're a little bit more heavy on the heel. Staying heel heavy, you're gonna inhale and squat down as far as you can comfortably by pushing the knees forward. This should work the quads if you get it right. Exhale, push the feet down into the ramp so you come back up. The biggest mistakes that I see are people hinging the squat. If that's you, you probably didn't push the knees forward. That's the big fix for that. Knees go forward while staying heel heavy. The other mistake I see is people arching their back on the squat. If that's you, you're not gonna load the legs effectively, and guess what? When the back arches, the QL be going en fuego. Make sure you keep the weight out in front of you and you get a good exhale at the start. Squat up and down with this exercise for 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps. Funny enough, upper body exercises can also help loosen up this area. When you reach at a slightly overhead angle, the tissues in the exact opposite direction, aka ding, your QL, have to be more chill than a pickle that's dill. Working this in a seated position helps give you the feedback needed to keep this area relaxed. Get a barbell set up and grip it at the top position. If you got small hands, instead of gripping the weighted end of the barbell, grip where you normally grip if you're doing some sort of bench press. Make sure the knuckles are pointing towards the ceiling and you have a nice grip on the bar. Take a breath in through the nose. During the exhale, you're gonna reach the bar upward, and this is gonna shift your weight back into the bench. That's what's gonna help keep the QLs relaxed. Keeping the base of the wrist in contact with the bar, inhale and slowly lower the weight. To help yourself out, reach with the opposite arm. This will help keep your back glued to the bench. Exhale and press the weight upward. Do 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps with this one. So you might have gotten both QLs to relax a bit, but what if you're that person who's now only restricted on one side? For that, you'll want to target opening up that area by working on separating the ribs and pelvis. This is gonna provide length to the QL, which will help it relax. And if you add some ability to rotate into the mix, your QLs are gonna be chillin'. An easy place to start is with this high oblique sit position. Whatever side was limited in side bending, you'll want that on the top. Have the bottom leg at about 70 degrees of hip flexion with the knee bent. The top foot should be in front of the bottom ankle. Make a T with your hands, and wherever your arm falls for support, that's where you want it to be. Just make sure it's roughly in line with the hips. A big mistake people make is they have the hand too far behind them. This is gonna round the shoulder forward, and to compensate for that, a lot of times your upper back has to arch. Guess what's gonna work? QLs. Not chill, not good. Looking straight ahead, log roll your body forward so that way your weight is heavy on the base of the wrist and the bottom outside knee. Don't make the mistake of over-rotating through the trunk. You can make sure this happens by making sure the top knee also comes forward. Take a slow 5-count breath in through the nose. During the soft 5-count exhale through the mouth, push your hand and your knee down into the ground. This is gonna cause the bottom abs to work, and so you'll kind of come up a little bit away from the ground. That's what's key key to helping the QL relax. Now to lengthen the top side, reach your arm up at about 110, 120 degrees of shoulder flexion, keeping the bottom hand and knee contact. Maintain this, doing the slow 5-count breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth for 3 sets of 60 seconds. You can also use rotation to gain some mobility even further in this area, making your QLs be way relaxed. I like this hip shift for this, keeping the side that has the tight QL on top. Keep the hips at about 70 degrees of hip flexion and place a foam roller between the knees. Your feet should be up against the wall and you want to make sure they're glued there. I'm talking heel heavy and the ball of the foot. Press a little bit into the wall. This might get the hamstrings involved, and that's a good thing. Take a slow 5-count breath in through the nose. During the exhale, you're going to move that top knee forward. That'll start working a little bit the top glute, and you might feel a stretch into the bottom hip. The biggest mistake that people make is losing the top heel contact. This is not something that you want to force. You want to keep the feet glued and slowly move that knee forward. As you're moving, breathe slowly in that position, doing the slow 5-count breaths in through the nose and soft 5-count exhales through the mouth for 3 sets of 60 seconds. Now, the biggest QL stretch that I got, but it's also the most challenging, is this move where you hang and shift your body side to side. It's gnarly, but if you get it right, you'll feel like $1,000,000. Grab onto a chin-up bar with your palms facing away from you. Feet should be supported on some sort of box or step stool. Let your body relax down without arching the back. You notice that you're arching, walk the feet a little bit forward and get a nice exhale through the mouth to help the ribs come down naturally without forcing. You're gonna breathe naturally in through the nose and out through the mouth. As you do this, you wanna slowly swing your body side to side, keeping the arms completely relaxed. As you get more comfortable with this, start adding a little bit of momentum into the mix, and it's totally normal for one of your feet to come up off the ground as you hit end range. Try 3 sets of 8 swings per side, and your QLs should be really relaxed. And you probably opened up the QLs quite a bit after using these 3 moves. You might be feeling awesome at this point. You want to keep it? To do that, you got to perform some strengthening exercises too. That way, you don't got to do these mobility drills twice a day for the rest of your life. The key is we want moves where you practice keeping that space between the ribs and the pelvis open. A split squat, holding a weight like this, is the best place to start that. Get your feet a couple foot lengths apart with your shin backwards and your knees soft. The back heel should be up, so you're more on the big toe. And with the front foot, you should stay heavy on the heel, but the foot should be flat. Inhale and drop down. Your back kneecap should go toward the ground. Your front knee should go forward. Stay heavy on the heel. If you get it right, you'll notice that the front quad and maybe a little bit of the glute is working. If you feel your back leg working too much, or you notice that your hips tilting or hiking, usually the issue is you're not putting enough load into the lead leg. You want to make sure that the back foot is pushing you forward, but if you still notice that tilt, I usually elevate the front foot on some sort of box or a couple books to reduce the loading there. Hold position for 3 sets of 30 to 90 seconds. You can also drive this by getting stronger in side bending and teaching your lats to work more and your QLs to work less. Pull downs are great for this. Go in a seated position to keep the QLs chill from the start. Grasp the cable, look straight ahead. Take a breath of air in through the nose. During the exhale, you're gonna pull your elbow down to the top of your pelvis, making sure that the shoulder comes backward. For a little added sauce, reach with the opposite arm. This is gonna allow some natural side bending to occur in the trunk. Just make sure your head stays straight on. Inhale, let the weight come back. Exhale, pull. The biggest mistake that I see people make is as they're pulling, the elbow goes way back and they crunch their trunk down. If you do that, you're not working the lats as well as you could. It means QLs might be picking up a little bit of the slack. Make sure to look straight ahead. Chest will stay parallel to the wall, and you pull your elbow to your pelvis, making sure that shoulder comes back. Do this for 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps. If your back is feeling better with those moves and you want to incorporate a daily mobility routine to help you feel great everywhere, then I would check out this video right here. It's got some of my best moves to continue to help you move like a boss.